Hi everyone, this is Tony Nichols, pastor of Church Alive, Northwest Arkansas, and I'm glad to be with you again today. And today I want to share with you about how to be people of influence. It's one of the assignments and challenges that Jesus gave to us. Let me read to you out of Matthew chapter 5, verses 13 through 16. This is the passage immediately that follows what we would call the Beatitudes. Jesus said, "You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt loses its flavor, how shall it be seasoned? It is then good for nothing but to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. You're the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." Salt and light represent what every Christian is called to be. We're to be penetrating and illuminating influences. We're to be both seen and felt. We are to radiate a power and a presence that attracts and transforms. Many years ago, I was at a leadership conference, and they broke us into small groups of 3 or 4 people, and they gave us this assignment. You have 5 minutes to define leadership in one word. As our group discussed, the one word that we chose was the word influence. I've had a number of people in my life that have been great influencers for me. One is my own dad. My father not only lived a life that was godly and was a great example, but he also had, I believe, a real gift of wisdom from the Lord, and he was able to speak into my life many practical truths that have been so helpful and have shaped me. I had a baseball coach in college, Wally Moon. He was Rookie of the Year for St. Louis in 1958, played 13 years for the Dodgers, and then was the San Diego Padres batting coach. He came to John Brown to coach for a few years, and I had the privilege to play for him. What he did was this: he lived the example of commitment and hard work. He had a great attitude, and he gave us the tools and the instructions, and then basically said, you are the one responsible for the motivation. If you want to play, work hard. If you don't want to play, then be lazy and mediocre, and you won't. He influenced my life by example, but also felt his presence, and it really did motivate me to strive and stretch to become the best that I could be. That's really what Jesus is asking of us. Jesus assigns us to 2 spheres of influence. He said, you are the salt of the earth. So we are here in the earth, and as salt, we preserve. They used to use a salt before they had refrigeration as a preservative. They would salt meat and those sorts of things. They would smoke it and hang it up in what was called a smokehouse or a dark, cool place, and the salt would preserve it. Salt was also used in medicine as a cleanser. If you had a wound, they would dump salt in the wound. I can only imagine the screaming and the pain, but it would kill the infection and help people get well. And then salt also enhances flavor. Sometimes we use dehydrated food from a particular company in Utah, and when you rehydrate it and cook it, the food is of high quality. It has no seasoning in it. And yes, sir, I get the salt out and help it taste good. So we're the salt of the earth, but we're the light of the world. And the world here speaks of the world systems. Our assignment is to dispel darkness, to reveal what is hidden. And that's what light does. Darkness doesn't have substance, but darkness is a place where things are hidden. Many evil things can be happening, and sometimes good is covered up. But He's called us to be a light that shines and illumines, and it helps people recognize the sin and the evil and the struggles in their life, and we can help them see their need for Jesus. Let me give you an illustration of how light overcomes darkness. Someone comes to you and says, I'm going to jump off the top of a 100-story building because I want to fly. I can fly. Well, we can't fly. But they don't listen, and they jump off the top of this 100-story building, and they pass the 90th story, and they say, so far so good. And they pass the 80th story, so far so good. And we're on the 70th story saying to them, stop, tell me to grab you, I'll reach out and get you. And they say, so far so good. And the 50th, 40th, 30th, you see what's coming. And so as we are salt and light, we are helping people who are plunging to destruction see their need for Jesus. The second thing is Jesus calls us to two actions. Salt permeates. It gives flavor and it enhances. And so what you and I are to do is to be the kind of Christians that walk in love and truth. And as we speak the truth in love, yes, sometimes it confronts, but we're to do it in a way that brings people to a place that says, I need help, I need forgiveness, I need a new life. And we're to enhance through our walk with Jesus. Our light illuminates. It helps us find our way to God and our path in life. And it's been a privilege to help a number of people grow in their relationship with the Lord and find His daily walk and their purpose. Psalm 119, 105 simply says this, your word is a lamp to my feet. That's the next step, and a light to my path. It gives them a longer-term direction. Jesus enables us to carry out two purposes. We're to salt the earth. We're to share our story of the gospel and how we came to know Jesus and the difference that He makes in our life. One of the things that Jesus did for me, as well as forgiving me of my sin and my brokenness, my rebellion, is I didn't have a sense of value. He showed me how valuable I am as a new creation in Him. And I'm the kind of person, I'm a doer, and He helped me find purpose. My life is one growing in influence and carrying out the purpose of God. The other purpose He's enabled us for is to glorify the Father through our service and good works. We live in a world that is so narcissistic and self-centered. When you serve other people, when you lovingly sacrifice and give to other people, they look and say, that's different. Because most people are simply living for themselves. What's theirs is theirs. What's yours is theirs if they can get it. And they just want everything to be about them. Service helps people see the love of God and something different from a self-centered system. So as I bring this to a conclusion, Jesus has called us to be salt. And that is, we preserve, we cleanse, and we flavor. He's called us to be light, to expose the darkness and reveal to people that they don't have to continue in evil. They don't have to jump off their proverbial 100-story building and crash and burn. And then as we are those testimonies and witnesses in the earth, it isn't just the example of our life. We need to speak up and tell people what Jesus has done for us and how He came to save them. As we do that, it glorifies God and it blesses people. So as we're the light of the world, just like Jesus said to us, then as believers in churches, we have a focused assignment from Jesus. We aren't to look at the world and say, how do I fit in? He says we're the light of the world, not just like the world. Many of us attempt to be good people during the week and fit into our culture at work or in the neighborhood, then go to church on Sunday and be spiritual. I want to encourage us to live for the Lord all the time. If you're trying to fit in, you're kind of like geese and ducks. Geese fly in formations, ducks fly in groups, but we're called to be eagles that fly above and soar in the heavenlies with God and set an example. So I guess we need to decide if we want to be honkers and quackers or if we want to be those who soar in the heavenlies with God. Thanks for your time today. God bless.